What's up, you slasher sickos, and welcome back to the Lucid Nightmare. I'm your host as always, Jay Schatzer, and today I've got a very strange, unorthodox slasher horror documentary style flick lined up for us. It is Charles B. Pierce's 1976 The Town That Dreaded Sundown. Just really strange, just very weird. Great slasher film, but very weird. So let's just stop talking and get right into it. Here is The Town That Dreaded Sundown. The Town That Dreaded Sundown is an interesting late 70s serial killer horror flick, which pulls from the real-life killings that occurred in Texarkana, Texas in the late 40s, and sprinkles it with odd charm and a hefty helping of brutal details. Crafted in a documentary style that definitely sets it apart from other slasher-style productions. The movie centers in on its small cast and unusual premise, making for an intimate retelling that is particularly unique and above all, wildly memorable. Gentle in pace and truly atmospheric, The Town That Dreaded Sundown is an intriguing look into a real-life horror show, and an unquestionable mystery, all within the trappings of an unabashed cult classic. The film follows the townsfolk and lawmen of the small southern town of Texarkana, Texas, after a string of strange murders begin to plague the area. It seems that young people are dying horrible deaths at the hands of a faceless killer. With the police stumped and the locals boarding up their windows, this once happy town is now turned into an unbearable nightmare, where fright and paranoia run rampant, and death is waiting around every corner. Will the killing stop? Or will this place be forever known as the Town That Dreaded Sundown? Shot in sporadic fashion and made on the cheap, the appeal of this bizarre horror flick and the tangible quality in which holds everything together is the gradual unraveling of the true events and the tight-knit cast of characters that inhabit this untraditional horror production. Sometimes silly and always entertaining, the cast does a remarkable job in bringing a sort of undefinable quality to the proceedings, resulting in an uneven experience that always keeps the viewer on their toes, and often tips the genre on its head in memorable ways. The outstanding performers of this unusual piece are Andrew Prine as Deputy Norman Ramsey, the fresh-faced officer who's desperately trying to find the identity of the elusive killer, Ben Johnson as Captain J.D. Morales, a legendary lawman who always gets his man and who has vowed to stop the killings. Charles B. Pierce as A.C. Benson, the goofy and aloof patrolman who's always getting into trouble. Cindy Butler as Peggy Loomis, a cute and innocent high school student who becomes an unwilling victim of the killer's twisted entertainment. Dawn Wells as Helen Reed, a gorgeous local whose quiet home becomes a living nightmare. And last but definitely not least is Bud Davis as the Phantom Killer, the masked madman who has crippled the town of Texarkana with unrelenting fear. In whimsical fashion and a pinch of grit, the cast does a fabulous job in fleshing out the off-kilter tone and feel of the production, and with entertainingly bipolar results. From beginning to end, The Town That Dreaded Sundown is a remarkably interesting cinematic journey. With its documentary-style retelling, to its unusual action set pieces, to its traditional horror elements, it's a production that genuinely mixes things up a bit in order to rewrite the formula of horror films and add something new and fresh into the picture. It's a crime drama with a heavy sense of dread and death, but with an unusual addition of comedy and personality that you don't usually see in a slasher flick or a true-life horror story in general. Insanely satisfying when it comes to creative kills and iconic horror moments. This bizarre cult horror classic astounds in atmosphere and strangeness, making for a true original movie experience that shakes up the normal archetypes of the genre and gives us something new to marvel at. In the end, The Town That Dreaded Sundown is an enthralling horror documentary slasher flick that kicks ass, takes names, and without a doubt totally entertains. And there you have it, sickos. That is the insanely entertaining, very unorthodox horror slasher film, The Town That Dreaded Sundown. Like I said, really strange, really odd, but it does have a great atmosphere and tone to it, even though it's balancing both horror and comedy in some of the most unexpected ways. But guys, that is it for me today. Hope you like that one, and I hope you like what I'm doing here. If you do, please like and subscribe. And if you have time, leave a comment below because I would love to hear from you. But until then, I will see you all at the next movie review. Take care.